Hey, good morning, students. And today we're going to discuss about. We are going to discuss. I'll be giving some highlights and what are the different topics that you need to focus in this plant growth and development. Okay. So this is the first thing we'll see quickly that what are the different topics that you need to cover. Especially here, growth is concerned. Types of growths, right? So types of growths can be asked in the way of either correct or incorrect statements. So there are different types of growth you can see on the basis of sequence of growth, whether it's a primary or secondary growth, or on the basis of continuity, whether it is unlimited or limited growth, or on the basis of plant growing plant organs, maybe vegetative growth or reproductive growth. So these are the three different types of growth you observe in plants, and you need to know the statements of it. So we may get it in correct or incorrect statements. Is that okay? And then let's go into the types of growth curves. So types of growth curves are where you need to focus on types of growth curve, where how these graphs were actually made, and what all these graphs signifies, right? For example, J shape, exponential growth and logistic growth that we studied in even what do you say, organisms and population. So those growth curves and the growth phases, right? So if it is the S phase or sigmoid growth phase, you will be having log phase, you will be having lag and log phase, and as well as you know you will be having stationary phase, steady phase, and how these phases are will be varying, right? That also need to focus, like with respect to size of the organ and with the time, how these curves will be there. So they may give in different options, four options, four different curves maybe they will be giving, and you may be asked to choose a correct graph according to the growth pattern. Okay, so you should go through the graphs. And coming to the measurement of growth, so you need to know the units of measurements, right? Oxonometer, these are the different measurements, units of the growth of the plant. So horizontal microscopic instrument called oxonometer is used to actually measure the growth of the plant. Okay, so horizontal growth of the plant would be measured by this microscope, right? And we have Indian scientist Bose developed an instrument called crescograph, right, for measurement of growth. So these Indian scientists and their inventions and their what exactly their role is also important. So coming to the growth rate, you have got two types of growth you can observe. One is arithmetic growth and geometric growth, right? And here, how do you calculate relative growth rate? So here numericals can be asked in the case of this growth rates, and what is the efficiency index. It means one when the cells are growing, how efficient they are, right? What might be the efficiency index? For example, ability of plant to produce new plant material, right? So that is called efficiency index. What is the efficiency index of certain plant? They may give numbers, and you need to calculate accordingly. Okay, so this is one of the important aspects. And the definitions of differentiation, de-differentiation, and redifferentiation, they may be asked as correct or incorrect statements. So you should be focusing very clearly. When it comes to development, there is a flowchart that was given in the NCERT, and please focus on that flowchart. Maybe they remove any one of the event, and they may ask you to find out what is it. Okay, so this developmental process and its sequence. For example, meristematic cell is undergoing cell division, so that is plasmatic growth, and then it is differentiated, right? And then in a elongation, expansion, maturation, and mature cell would be entering into the senescence. So this flowchart is very much important when it comes to development. Okay, so these are the different aspects of plant growth. And when we talk about the hormones, every hormone in this plant is utmost important. So you should be focusing on the plant growth regulators, PGRs, right? So these PGRs, for example, auxin, where exactly it is, its location, just like our chemical coordination that we study in animal physiology, human physiology, what is where which organ is producing, location of it, and how it is transported, and what is the mechanism of it. Just like that, even auxins also, where they are exactly occurring, right? At the same time, what are the different types of naturally occurring auxin and synthetic auxins? For example, if you take synthetic auxin, they are like 2,4-D, uh, 2,4-D are there, like 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, right? So this 2,4-D is an synthetic auxin. So it can be used as auxins as well as growth hormones. It has got different functions, right? And coming to naturally occurring auxins, we have IAA, like indole acetic acid, phenylacetic acid, indole butyric acid, IAA, PAA, IBA. So where exactly they produce, and what are their roles? Whether they are promoting the growth or what exactly they are doing is what you need to understand, right? So those things you need to focus. So you can make a tabular form, or if in need book also it was given very clearly, you no need to make again. But if you are a metric student, and if you don't have any need book, you can take the NCERT PDF that I gave, right? So you can make all the list of the hormones and their location, where they produce, and what are their effects, in the sense what are their role, right? So likewise, we have gibberellins, cytokinins. So where they are extracted, gibberellins first identified as Gibberella fusicorae, right? So this Gibberella fusicorae is where we actually this fungus, where we actually first discovered this growth regulators, gibberellins, right? Like that, we have cytokinins, abscisic acid, ethylene, right? So you have to make a list. So obviously, hormone, its major function and their location of synthesis, then it will be very easy. Otherwise it will be very tough to handle this chapter. Okay, so what might be the applications of phytohormones also? So it can, these hormones can be used for the stem elongation. Even it can delay the leaf aging, or promotion of chloroplast development, or promotion of lateral buds. So we have lateral buds development also, it can be uh, produced. No, few of the important features of this plant hormones, right? And coming to seed dormancy. So seed dormancy, what is exactly seed dormancy, and how can we actually break this seed dormancy, where we have different steps involved, like we can uh, scarification, we can do stratification, we can do alternating the temperature, we can break the seed, and light, pressure, or growth regulator application. So during tissue culture in strategies for enhancements of food production, I have shown tissue culture techniques. In that we can we can produce artificially. We can give these growth regulators to break this dormancy of the seed, right? So why the seed dormancy is important in a plant, that have to be understood, so that, because they may ask in correct or incorrect statement. So here photoperiodism is there. In this, SDPs and LDPs are utmost important. You should focus on the short day plants, long day plants, day neutral plants. Examples, so they may give certain graphs, they may give some light intensities or time, and they may ask that what type of growth pattern it will be shown. So these three things, SDPs, that is short day plants, long day plants, and day neutral plants, right? Long short day plants, right? So these are the different combinations you have, and you need to know the definitions of them and examples of them, right? So that is one of them. If you take spinach is one of the long day plants example, and dahlia, or rice, sugarcane, you take strawberry, tobacco, these are all comes under short day plants. So short day plants, or the photo period of this plant is lesser than the critical photo period. So you should know that what is critical period, what is it, hours, how many hours we say the critical period. These are the things you need to focus. Okay, and coming to ventilation. So ventilation stimulus is perceived by apical meristem. So this stimulus is believed to be a hormone called vernalin. So what exactly this ventilation is? Nothing but it is a promotion of flowering by low temperature treatment. So when we give low temperature treatment, we can actually promote flowering. So this vernalization conditions necessary for this vernalization can be coming as a mass falling, right? So these are the conditions, or you may get pick the incorrect condition for the vernalization. Such you need to understand, and you should recollect that this necessary conditions of vernalization includes actively dividing cells, aerobic conditions, low temperature, water, and proper nourishment. So these are the important aspects that you need to focus. Remaining, there are self-explanatory. Abscission also is one of the important aspects. So why abscission? How it is controlling the growth of some parts of the plant, and how this abscisic acid is involved in. Especially, you should focus on the all different sorts of hormones and their functions and locations. Is that clear? So this is regarding the plant growth and growth and development. As I already told, I'm not explaining each and everything. I'm just giving the highlights, or where exactly you need to study, where exactly you need to spend time on. Okay, so this is regarding the 15th chapter, plant growth and development. So I'll be uploading other chapters highlights also. Okay, please make use of this. Thank you.